The world has been feeding you a dangerous lie since you were young. They told you that true love requires sacrifice, that if you give more, endure more, put the other person first and forget yourself, your relationship will last forever. They painted pictures of noble partners who silently suffer, who give everything without expecting anything back, and in return, they receive undying love and loyalty. You believed it. You tried to become the understanding one, the patient one, the person who always compromises, always shows up, always puts the relationship above your own needs. You thought the more you sacrificed, the stronger the bond would become. But one day reality hits you hard. You were deceived. The more you sacrifice to hold on to love, the faster you lose respect, attraction, and eventually, the person themselves. This isn't comforting advice. This is the cold, unflinching law of human nature that society doesn't want you to understand. Let me show you what really happens. Sarah was 34 when she came to terms with the end of her 8-year marriage. From the beginning, she wanted to be the perfect wife. She gave up her promising career in marketing to support her husband's startup. She handled all the household chores, managed the kids' schedules, and constantly put his stress and ambitions before her own well-being. When he came home late and irritable, she stayed quiet and supportive, telling herself that this was what real love looked like. She sacrificed her hobbies, her social life, even her sleep, believing that her endless giving would make him cherish her more. Instead, he started taking her for granted. The small gestures of appreciation disappeared. He spent more time at work, then with colleagues, and eventually began an affair with someone who demanded his attention, rather than quietly absorbing his neglect. When confronted, he admitted he no longer felt the spark. Sarah had become background noise, reliable, but no longer exciting or valuable in his eyes. She lost the marriage, her self-worth, and years she could never get back. This pattern repeats everywhere. Take David, a young man in his mid-20s deep in love with his girlfriend Emma. He thought love meant total devotion. He skipped important study sessions for exams to be with her whenever she felt lonely. He ignored his own friends and passions to match her schedule. He even borrowed money to fund trips and gifts she wanted, convincing himself that his sacrifices proved how much he cared. Emma initially seemed touched, but over time she grew bored. She began comparing him to others who seemed more independent and challenging. Eventually, she left, saying the relationship felt too easy, and she no longer felt butterflies. David was devastated. He couldn't understand why giving everything wasn't enough. Now look at the workplace. The same dynamic plays out coldly. Michael was the dedicated employee who always stayed late, took on extra projects without complaint, and covered for colleagues when they slacked off. He believed his sacrifices would earn him promotion and loyalty from the company. When budget cuts came, he was among the first let go. Management saw him as convenient and replaceable, not as someone whose contributions deserved protection. The ones who set boundaries and negotiated their value were the ones who survived. Even in friendships and family, excessive sacrifice backfires. People who constantly lend money, offer emotional support at any hour, or drop everything to help others, often discover that when they need support in return, the response is silence or excuses. Why? Because they've trained others to see them as unlimited resources, rather than equals with their own limits. Does this sting? Many watching this right now feel that familiar tightness in the chest. You've cried in silence after yet another unfair demand at work that you couldn't refuse. You've swallowed hurtful words from a partner because admitting the pain might push them away. You've cancelled plans, ignored your health, and dimmed your own light just to keep the peace in a relationship that was slowly draining you. And when it finally fell apart, you blamed yourself for not sacrificing enough. The brutal truth is you weren't failing at love. You were falling for a myth. Human behavior follows predictable patterns rooted in power and self-interest. When you sacrifice excessively, you send a clear subconscious message. My needs matter less than yours. My time, energy, and dignity are negotiable. People are wired to value what is scarce and to take for granted what is freely and endlessly given. From a Machiavellian perspective, relationships are arenas of exchange, not altars of self-erasure. Those who understand power dynamics know that constant one-sided giving shifts the balance. The receiver gains control without effort. They stop investing because they no longer need to. Respect fades, attraction dims, and what once felt like love turns into quiet contempt or indifference. Society keeps promoting the sacrifice narrative because it serves stability. Parents, movies, social media, and even well-meaning friends encourage endurance in the name of commitment. They don't tell you that unchecked sacrifice often creates resentment, imbalance, and ultimately, collapse. They don't admit that love built on one person's exhaustion is fragile and unsustainable. So what does a wiser approach look like in practice? It isn't about becoming cold or refusing to give at all. It's about giving from a position of strength rather than desperation. It's about protecting your own value while still showing care. When you stop offering unlimited sacrifice, you communicate something powerful. I respect myself. If you want to stay, you must respect me too. This shifts the dynamic. The other person is forced to contribute instead of simply receiving. In romantic relationships, focus on becoming someone with your own life, standards, and boundaries, rather than molding yourself into whatever the other person seems to need in the moment. In marriage or long-term partnerships, clear and consistent limits prevent the slow erosion of self that turns partners into caretakers or doormats. At work or with friends, learn to offer help strategically, not endlessly. Understand this core principle. Real connection thrives on mutual respect and balanced exchange, not on one person bleeding themselves dry. Love isn't a contest of who can endure more pain. It's a meeting of two people who each know their worth and choose to invest in each other. When you begin operating from this mindset, subtle changes often appear. People who once dismissed your efforts may start showing more consideration. Those who exploited your generosity may pull back or adjust their behavior. Most importantly, you reclaim your energy and self-respect. You stop pouring into voids and start building from a solid foundation. This is the dark wisdom rarely taught openly. Stop sacrificing to keep someone. Start investing in yourself so that any relationship you choose adds to your life rather than subtracts from it. The strongest people in love aren't those who tolerate the most. They are those who refuse to disappear into the relationship. Reflect on this honestly. How many years have you spent believing the lie? How much of yourself have you erased trying to earn love that should never require self-destruction? From this point forward, you have a choice. Continue trading pieces of yourself for the illusion of security, or stand firm in your own value, and let relationships form around mutual strength instead of one-sided endurance. The world lied when it told you sacrifice is the price of keeping love. In reality, sacrificing too much is often the quickest way to watch it slip away. True power in relationships belongs to those who know their worth so deeply that they never have to destroy themselves to be allowed to stay. Look in the mirror and remind yourself, I will no longer be fooled. I won't sacrifice my core self to cling to something that was never truly reciprocal. That realization isn't the end of love. It's the beginning of a more grounded, dignified version of you.
Nội dung video chỉ mang tính chất tham khảo và giáo dục, không phải là lời khuyên tâm lý chuyên nghiệp. Người xem chịu trách nhiệm hoàn toàn cho quyết định và hành động của mình.